All right, welcome on this gloomy afternoon for those of you who are here in St. Louis. Can everybody hear me okay? Awesome, wonderful. All right, well, thank you very much for joining us. This is our first community gathering. And my name is Tabea Linhart, and I welcome all of you on behalf of the Hostile Terrain 94 at Washington University and St. Louis partners. So as all of you probably, or as most of you know, Hostile Terrain 94 is a participatory exhibition composed of 3,200 handwritten toe tags that represent migrants who have died in the Arizona desert between the mid-90s and 2019. Again, as most of you know, these tags are geolocated on a wall map of the desert showing the exact locations where remains were found. The exhibit is based on the research of Jason De Leon, the director of the Undocumented Migration Project, a nonprofit research art education media collective. I will introduce Hostile Terrain 94 at WSU partners. If you are already part of this group, maybe you can use the little Zoom icons to just wave right now. Maybe we can talk about who you are a little bit later on. If you want to be part of this group, I will talk about this in just a moment. I want to spend some time talking about what led to today's event before I introduce our guest artist. So the initiative to bring Hostile Terrain 94 to St. Louis came together after Jason De Leon visited WSU in December, so almost a year ago. Back then, so last year, a few of us started having conversations about what we could do to bring the exhibit here and how we could pull that off. So fortunately, we were able to count on the support from the National Area Studies Program, the American Culture Studies Program, the Department of Art History and Archaeology, the Department of Romance Languages and Literatures, and the Office of the Vice Provost for Faculty Advancement and National Diversity. So thank you to all these individuals and these different departments and organizations. So once all that happened, we did receive a big box of materials from California, and we received the box the Friday right before spring break of this year. And we all know what happened after that. So the box was in my office for many months. And so, as many of you also know, our initial plan was to set up the exhibit during the first week of October, which of course did not happen. So what we have done, we have turned Hostile Terrain 94 in St. Louis to a year-long event. Many of you are filling out toe tags in your classes, at home, with your families, with your friends, and some of you already participated in our first socially distant toe tag filling workshop on October 12th. Let me announce right now that we will have another socially distant toe tag filling workshop on October 29th, which is next Thursday. I will put the link in the chat in a moment. It will be colder, but that's okay. We will be outside in the tents right outside Macmillan. As I said in the beginning, I want to talk a little bit about how you can become a member of Hostile Terrain 94 at WSU Partners. It's very easy. You just have to contact us. You can send us an email, or you can just email me. And that's about it. Everybody who wants to participate can be part of the group. We have no membership criteria other than commitment to the exhibit and to everything that it means. We try to not have too many meetings, and we try to not send out too many emails. So it's a good group if you want to belong to a group. The events we have held so far, they really have been the result of complete collaboration. I think every single idea that came up from a number of very bright and interesting minds. So we have students and professors, faculty, and staff. So we are a very, very diverse group. So everything we have done so far has been the result of that, of collaborating and improvising, and sometimes just, well, luck, to be quite honest. Talking about luck, I think we're very fortunate to have Mee Jey with us today. So I'm going to introduce her now. Mee Jey is an Indian artist, mother, whose sensibilities are shaped by the mythologies and folklore of India, historical accounts of past archaeological remains of ancient India, and her travels to the length and breadth of the Indian subcontinent. She is an MFA from the Sam Fox School of Arts from WSU, a master's degree in history from, wait, I practice to say this correctly, Jawaharlal Nehru University, and a master of philosophy in liberal arts from Ambedkar University in Delhi. She's the recipient of the Macdonald National Scholarship and the USA States Fellowship, and her work has been exhibited in India and in St. Louis, and she's currently a practicing artist from St. Louis. And so we are going to move on to the first event in our agenda, which is me. And then I will give now, well, I guess Maddie will be the next one to address the ongoing events. And let me just say quickly that it would have been absolutely impossible to have done anything without Maddie. So I think Maddie is the one who has really made everything that we're doing here possible. So Maddie, it's all yours.
Thank you so much. I mean, we wouldn't have it here if it weren't for you bringing it and everyone else participating. So I'm just going to give you all a rundown of what we hope that for this event. Primarily, this is a space for community reflection for those who have already filled out toe tags to come together and share what stood out to you and have that open space for remembrance of these individuals that we're honoring. And secondly, to draw a connection of this greater issue a little bit closer to St. Louis, which is very far away from the border region that we're reflecting on with these toe tags, but which very much has its own versions of hostile terrain. So first, we're going to show two performances that Mee has worked on. One is an ongoing project, and the other is specifically connected to hostile terrain. So without further ado, we'll have these performances. Mee will share a little bit of her perspective and her history with these projects, and then we'll do short breakout rooms where you all can feel free to reflect together on a couple key questions and your experience filling out toe tags, as well as your experience witnessing Mee's work. So we'll start with Mee's performance titled Prayer. It is an ongoing performance. Prayer is a resilient act of hope, imitating the Hindu and Buddhist tradition of chanting. Mee is writing a prayer for each child who has been a victim of war and violence or is at risk of it. The mantra she chooses to repeat is "My baby." And you may need to turn your audio up. Just an FYI. I think the next performance, Mee is going to share a little bit about what she has done to connect her art with hostile terrain very specifically.
Hi, everybody, and thank you very much for joining all of us here. It is as much an honor for me to be here, as much my soul desire to be part of this. The next performance that I created for this particular piece, the Hostile Terrain 94, is my personal connection with the piece. And it is about the millions of people leave their homes and undertake arduous journeys in search of better future. Thousands die or go missing, and as many bodies are found that remain unidentified. According to Hindu belief system, if dead are not given due farewell, the soul wanders between the other world and the mortal world, suffering from the pain and longing. I am invoking, or I am assuming the role of the ghost mother and naming all these unidentified bodies as my baby so that they can, so more like helping them to rest in peace in the other world. This matter is very personal to me, not just as an immigrant that I am, but also as a mother that I am. When I came to United States in 2017, I was pregnant and DACA was declared. I heard the minors being separated from their parents forcefully. And recently we hear that 545 kids the minors have not been able to reunite with their parents because the government is unable to trace the parents. So something that triggered a sense of panic, concern, and love for my unborn child manifested into two of the projects that you guys just saw, the prayer, which I started in 2017, and this My Baby performance, which when the Hostile Terrain 94 project was uh, being worked on, I came across the information, and my immediate wish was to be part of this bigger project because I have been working on this issue for last few years. The most important turning point, or maybe the most important point when I connected to this issue was in 2019, when I received funding from my department, Sam Fox department, the Dean Travels Grant, to go and work with the undocumented immigrants in Texas. One of the professors at the Texas University, South Texas University, she came across my work that I have done in India with the communities. Uh, so just a little of the background. I have been working with Indian communities since 2013. And I continue to work even in St. Louis with different organizations. So when she came to know about my work, she invited me to go and work with them and share my creative process with them. It is more of a healing process rather than any other thing. And that is an important aspect of this whole journey, from traveling and leaving their whole life, their whole world behind, and taking an arduous, life-threatening journey to United States. When I went there and stayed with those immigrants, undocumented immigrants who were still seeking their paperwork done, who were seeking refuge, I came to know about their stories and how they didn't let go the hope. They resisted through all the problems, and how much they missed the family that they had left behind. I think as a woman or as an immigrant, but more so as a human being, this issue of somebody's life, death, hope, future, this concerns me, and it concerns millions of us. And this is an absolute honor to be part of this very, very demanding and very significant issue that's a global problem right now. And when I came across this Terrain 94 book and the other projects happening, and it is a global remembrance. So mind it that this project is happening on 6 different continents. And this will happen through the fall of 2020, and it will extend. And I think we all need to unite at this point, and we all need to bring in our intentional acts together for this big issue that doesn't seem to last. I mean, that doesn't seem to end soon.
Thank you so much. We have some time for questions. And before we break into groups now to talk more about our personal experience participating in the event, but if you would like to ask me a question or maybe share some of your experiences with everybody, this would be the moment to do that. No, I feel like I'm in a classroom. but but I just want to maybe start with this one. So what struck me about your project, well, both of them really, is the relationship with the physical act of writing. And I think this is something that, those of you who have had the chance to work with the toe tags already, we're not used to handwriting anymore, right? So we started filling out the toe tags, and after a while we realized, well, my hand hurts because I'm not really doing this anymore. And for me, that also is a very important component of that, the sheer physicality of it. And I was wondering what do you do? What does it mean to you and for your project, Mee?
As a kid, I was trained to write beautifully. And I think that was my only beautiful aspect of my whole being. And when I decided to become an artist in 2012, or rather when I had my first show at 2012, I used to do large scale, like 32 by 25 inches paper drawings by just line drawings. And these line drawings are not the line drawings. It's like you're filling the surface with just long lines. And I think working with my hand helps, grounds me. Some people walk, some people run. I think doing anything with my hand grounds me, it holds me down and reminds me the most beautiful aspect of my whole being. And I have always found writing as a healing process. I am bad with words. I fumble. The words kind of elude me. And when I get very agitated or very happy, I start writing. So my baby was exactly the result of that panic and concern that I felt for my unborn child and all the children who had been separated from their parents because of the DACA law. And I didn't know how to react to this whole thing. I just started writing my baby, my baby. And one of my professor kept telling me that this is a performance, while I kept seeing it as an installation. And over the years, kept performing this in St. Louis for my master's project, but also in India for a residency project. And I have written more than 1,000 sheets of paper. And I guess each sheet has around 30 or 40 my babies written on it. Repetitiveness is a very interesting aspect of my work as well. You always, if you go to my website or if you ever come across my work, you will see I create lines, line after line after line, and I might fill the whole surface with lines, whether sculptural or two-dimensional works. Similarly, this fractal pattern or creating a macro picture using micro units is something how I work. I never had big happiness in my life. I always clung to small happinesses. And I think my perspective of looking at life as a historian, archaeologist, and like as a training in my history and archaeology, but as a creative person as well, I see value in small things, ordinary things. So if you repeat my baby a zillion times, it becomes powerful. Just as a mantra of Om or anything that you choose to repeat starts giving you power, starts giving you a sense of belonging. And that repetitiveness you will find in almost all of my work.
I'm curious how you got all your pages from India to the US, or if they are in the US, all those pages of writing.
Most of it is, no, actually half of it was in US and half that I wrote in India. And these are just small sheets on which you print your regular texts. And for me, I hardly ever brought anything back from India to US or US to India unless it was all art material. I think the last time I went to India was on the invitation of this residency. So I already had planned what I'm going to do. And because my baby writing a project, it fits in the time we are living in, because there is war happening in the Middle East. There is genocide happening at so many places, not sparing India for sure. We had communal riots in India. And I think that was the time when I decided I'll do this performance. I had some of the people from the audience who wanted to come and sit down and write that prayer with me because they also connected with the loss or the danger of life that their children or anybody they knew or they connected with. It doesn't matter somebody personal or not. It is about the people, the community. They wanted to come and write prayers with me. And however, the gallery administration did not approve that because they were recording it or for some reason. But I believe in future, I would like where people can come in and be part of this larger prayerful act.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I just had to mute myself because I had a barking dog in the background. So, but I think he calmed down now. And so if we don't have any more questions at this point, we're going to move on the next event on our agenda, which is we want to give you the chance to talk about your own experiences with the exhibit. If you maybe have had a chance to fill out the TOTEX, maybe you have not been able to do so yet, but we are going to break the larger group down into smaller groups. And then I'm going to, as Maddie takes care of the groups, I'm going to put some questions into the chat that we can then discuss again with smaller groups in the breakout rooms. So I'm going to paste the questions to the chat, and then Maddie will take care of the breakout rooms. Yeah, and unmute, good. So I realized we only have 5 minutes left, and we had 2 more activities planned for today. One is a Padlet. The other one, which maybe, yeah, Gabi, you're back, good. So, but which may be, I guess, also a very, nice way to end today's gathering. So, we thought, well, what brings people together? And it's usually food. Well, we can't do that these days. And the other one is music. And so we thought that we would ask one of our very talented students to sing to kind of end the meeting today. But before we do that, and Gabi, are you ready? Can you just, okay, awesome, perfect. I just want to see if anybody else would like to talk about what we talked in the breakout rooms, anything you would like to share with the group.
One thing I would like to say, if there's anything we'd like to add to this Padlet, I just dropped it in the chat. We can, this is also something we can link to on our site, and it can be ongoing throughout the project. It doesn't have to end with today. So any thoughts or observations, I don't know if you've ever used Padlet before, you don't need an account or there's no bar to entry. You can just post a comment. It's like a digital Post-it note almost, and you can comment and like each other's. So yes, click on link. You can share any words of remembrance and reflection, and we are going to, I think, keep updating that as it goes, and it updates in real time. So that was my part.
Thank you, Ayla. And also, again, we have another socially distant TOTEX filling event next week. If you are around St. Louis and if you're able to come, it'll be great to have you. Keep on checking out our webpage. All our events will be posted there. Any questions or comments, and I think we will end this meeting with Gabi's song. But I also want to say thank you for being with us, for sharing this moment with us, and thank you, Mee, for sharing your art with us, and thank you, Gabe, for as being the, I'm gonna put him on the spot for a moment. Gabe Cantor, who is representing the Undocumented Migration Project, so he is joining us from California, correctly?
Yes, and I just want to thank you all of you for being here, and the St. Louis team for putting this together. This is incredible, and Mee Jey for your beautiful performances. This means a lot to our team, and we're so appreciative. And we had some really good discussions in the breakout room just now too. And so it's just very inspiring to be in this setting. And I'll just say as a quick little plug, if anybody would like to participate in our video compilation, A Moment of Global Remembrance, we are asking folks to submit a recording, video, or just audio of yourself reading one name from the list of 3,200 people who have died in the Arizona desert. And we are compiling it. And so there's going to be one person anywhere in the world reading one name. And so it'll be about 12 hours long at the end. But if you would like to participate, I'm putting a link to signing up in the chat, and you are more than welcome to go to our website and sign up. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Maddie, for doing this. Thank you, Tabia, for doing this too. I mean, thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Gabe. And then Gabi, it's all yours. So, and with this, we're going to say goodbye to everybody. So we'll leave you with Gabi and her song.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gabi Musicant. I'm really happy to be here. This has been extremely moving, and I'm really glad this project exists. So thank you to all of you. And I hope this goes okay. I've never sung over Zoom before, so apologies in advance if there's Wi-Fi issues or anything, but. The water is wide, I can't cross over. I neither have high wings to fly. Give me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I. There is a ship, and she sails the sea. She's loaded deep, as deep can be, but not so deep as the love I'm in. I know not how I sink or swim. Oh, love is handsome and love is kind. The sweetest flower when first it's new, but love grows old and waxes cold and fades away like summer dew. Give me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I.
Yay.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Gabi. And, stay in touch and have a great weekend. Thank you for spending this hour with us.